recollection of what the compressed sort of speaking sounds like?
Yeah, yeah. From what I remember, it was like uh oh my God, yeah. Oh no, I don't really remember it too
Just
much.
do any phrase, any phrase. Just do your best. It's fine if it's not. I just want to see how you've been practicing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it was like it me like a shot in the dark, like that, right? Like
Yeah.
it
Yes, you're on the right track. Getting rid of the H's that are going to blow through the compression. Um, but
mhm.
for you, like I said in the message, I really want to overdo it to like a ridiculous
Mm.
degree. So so I really want you to like get into compression that sounds like you're really squeezing the heck out of your throat. So
Okay.
like it's hit me like a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
So what I want the spoken thing to sound like, I was just overdoing it to a crazy degree, but I wanted to like the things you should be after is clarity. So like the kind of how well it rings,
Mhm.
and then also the amount of squeeze. So if it's
Mhm.
squeezing like crazy, but it's coming out like I just did, very like muffled, it's probably way too much. So
Okay.
you might need to like get there a little bit just to feel that out. But eventually you want to be able to get like a "it be like a shot in the dark." You want to be able to like squeeze it but still get clarity out of your voice. So like "hit me like a shot in the dark." And so that's already overdone. Like I would never sing to that level of squeeze.
Okay.
Can you try that?
Yeah. It me like a shot in the dark, like
Good.
that.
Yeah. Yes, just like that. And now if we just bump up our range, kind of like we're yelling at somebody. "Hit me like a shot in the dark."
Okay. It there's like so much like yeah, okay.
Yes,
It me like a shot in the dark.
yes. Don't think of singing it. There's a little bit of a
Okay.
melody that I'm hearing there. I want you to think of just like speaking it out.
Yeah.
And do you notice how right at the beginning there it started to kind of crackle a little bit and then it
Yeah, yeah,
started to
yeah.
get clarity? So you want to see, can you get the clarity you were getting in the middle? You want to see, can you get that right from the beginning? That's the goal.
Mm. Okay. So it it be like a shot in the dark, like that.
Good.
That's melody.
Even more. Even more. Yeah. Even more
Okay.
squeeze, less melody. "Hit me like
Okay.
a shot in the dark."
It be like a shot in the dark.
Yes. Good. Do you feel that
Okay.
level of like press? It's like a lot of squeeze,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? That's what we want. We want to like embed that in your muscle memory so that you can anytime like turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it
Mm.
off. And then if
Okay.
you're able to do that, then you can start to throw that into the melody.
Got you.
So
Okay.
so if let's try to carry it over in how does the melody go? "Hit me like a shot in the." Okay.
Yeah, it's just a walk down.
Yeah, so let's give that a try. And I want you to slow it down. Always whenever anybody's
Mm.
working on compression, slow it down. "Hit me like a shot in the dark."
Okay. It be like a shot in the dark.
Good. So you see out there, nothing was in falsetto. Do it the way
Yeah.
do it the way you would naturally do it.
Okay. It hit me like a shot in the dark.
Does
That's how I
everybody
normally do
hear
it.
the difference? That's a very important difference to hear in anybody's voice. Now, Tim, you've got a very light, like Leonard was saying in the messages. You have a very light timbre to your voice already,
Mhm.
but there's a clear difference when you're holding on to compression and chest voice to where you're letting it go to falsetto slash head voice. So
Okay.
that difference is something everybody's got to get really familiar with. That sort of
Mm,
adjustment, that change. You have quite a strong like head voice tone. Like your head voice
mm,
tone, it seems like it's something that you're home base with, and because of that, it's more comfortable for you to go there. So um, yeah, Mohammed, for sure. Sorry, I just saw your message, Mohammed. I'd be happy to make a compression video. I was actually thinking, do you guys I was thinking of either making a course on it, like just really digging into this one topic, or writing a book
mm.
on it. Yeah, one or the other. But yeah, it's I think it's a it's a concept that is somewhat elusive for a lot of people. Some people get it, and then some people it's quite elusive. But yeah, I think it's enough people that it would be beneficial to have something like dedicated to it. But yeah, could definitely put together a YouTube video on
Yeah, look in the progress and like everybody's working on compression. It's like okay,
that.
Uh,
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
me included. So I mean,
right,
yeah.
right. So yeah, it's true. Um, so definitely something to think about, and the way to go about it. But what was I saying? Yeah, so that would be the way that I would go about doing that phrase, and I
Mm,
would I would try to not get caught up only on one phrase because it might be that you'll
yeah.
kind of like get stuck and it won't quite work. So I like to jump around between like two or three phrases in a song.
Mm,
So
mm,
then that way it's like, okay, it's not working here. Let's try this phrase in a slightly different range, and then this phrase in a slightly different range. And like, okay, oh, I can get it in this range. So now let me try to carry that over to what I'm doing here. And then that way it can
yeah.
transfer quite well. So don't harp on this one phrase if you're getting stuck on it. Jump to other phrases. Um, but yeah, those are the main keys. Slow it down, compress your spoken, compress your yelled sound, and then compress your
Mm.
singing sound.
Okay, cool. And I just have one more question on this compression thing of it.
Mm.
Should I also be doing it low? Or is it just kind of like mid up? Like, or is it like also in the low?
It should be wherever chest voice wants to give way to head voice. Like
Okay.
it not that head voice usage is wrong. It's just that I want you to be able to do both. And so if chest voice is always giving way to head voice, even down
Mm,
here you're still in a head voice sort of tone, then you want to try to lean into that more compressed sound because that's going to bring in the chest voice muscle. That brings in the TA muscle, which is responsible for chest voice. And so that's why compression is such a huge factor in bringing in the mixed voice because you're in a
mm.
range that normally would be for head voice, but you're bringing in enough of the musculature of chest voice so that they combine.
Got you. Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Yeah, awesome. Next up, we've got Scott. You're continuing to practice this exact breathy to compress sound on higher notes. It's slowly improving. You saying slowly improving means there's like a huge improvement. So uh,
no, no, it's just slow.
Scott does not give himself credit very easily. So I know when he says that there's improvement, then there's definitely improvement. Um,
Well, when I
so
say when I say improvement, I just mean that uh, it seems to be taking less time to I guess warm up or get it to start to sound compressed or connected at higher notes. I don't even sing songs. I just pick a tone. It's not even a note. I just pick a tone and a vowel, and I just start off breathy, and then I just try to try to get it to
Turn on the
connect, like
squeeze.
yeah, yeah, and that's and I do it really soft. I don't do it loud. Um, yeah, and that's it. And then I try to keep my Adam's apple from popping up while I do it because it definitely I keep finding, like, oh shit, it went back up again, and so I gotta remember to keep it back down. But
Okay,
it's
that's
oh man,
awesome. All,
it is
all
so not natural. It's so not natural.
Well, if it was natural, then you'd be a natural singer. So like by
Yeah,
definition,
yeah,
it's not natural. But
yeah.
we got to work on it still. Um, so I think we got to remedy the fact that you're not working on any songs. We got to get some songs, some application in there. Um, what songs do you listen to? What could we start working on?
I don't know. I mostly listen to country music. Um, so like Tim McGraw, Jason Aldean, uh, not yeah, I don't really know artists too well. I just know when I hear a song, it's like, oh, I like that one, and then I save it, and then I
Great.
play it again.
That's perfectly fine. So let's find a
Get
Tim
going. Yeah.
McGraw song that you know.
But
Uh,
a number of them don't go.
Say tenor.
A number of them don't go up into mixed or head voice. They'll
Mm,
stay in
that's
chest.
right.
So I
so
gotta
I have a
pick.
little I have a little trick to fix that.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
um what do you like? Standing room only, humble and kind, live like you were dying, remember me well.
Yeah, live like you were dying's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's start with that. Now, Leonard or Scott, does this go up into a mix? Do you guys know?
Uh,
mm, I don't believe it does.
No.
um,
He's a tenor.
He's a tenor,
it's
but he stays below his bridge.
um
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he goes in that head voice at all.
not this one. No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
I don't think.
Let
I
me
I don't
let
mean,
me
think
just
so.
do a little
he's not
jumping
really.
around
He
here.
doesn't usually go in. Well, sometimes, often in
I'll
country. That's just does
I'll
not
jump
go
around a
well.
little.
Maybe Vince Gill.
Man, what'd you do? He said, I went
Yeah, there's it's later in this song. There's one where he goes up
E4.
into notes that I can't reach
Yeah, there. Okay.
without the flip.
All right.
eternity. Think about what you do
It's
with
just
it.
coming up.
Right before that, or
No, just after it.
okay.
What did you do with it?
Here it comes.
What did I do with it? What would I do with it?
Right here.
Skydiving,
Yeah, I can't reach that.
Rocky Mountain climbing.
Did he hit the E4?
E4 there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Okay, cool. So that you're finding difficult to get up into that key.
Well, I can if I flip. Yeah, then it's no problem.
Okay. So let's hear what just if you were to copy what he's doing just on this first phrase, what it comes out as, and then we'll work on getting the compression there.
Rocky Mount. Yeah, it's disconnected up there for sure.
So try just skydiving
Yeah.
as full out as you can, a cappella.
As loud as I can.
Yeah, I mean like it's a
That's not gonna
belted
work.
sort of sound. I want to see if we can get there.
No, I can't. I can't. I already know that I can't.
Let's
That's
try. Let's give our
All right.
best try. Even if it falls apart, it's fine.
So what's the note? Skydiving I went, Rocky Mountain climbing I went, 2 point.
Okay, but we've got something there. Like there we've got
Yeah.
some compression going on. So let's work with that. Um,
It's about to, yeah. There's some notes right after that it just goes like way off for me.
okay, but let's start with the E4 because the E4 seems to be giving you trouble, but it's like it's doable. This is a good like kind of challenge. You always want to go just above what your current ability is and like push
Mhm.
that envelope just a little bit. So, okay, so if that's not working, I want you to try this before we start working on compression because I'm hearing compression when you actually go for it. I'm hearing compression. So I want you to put a finger on your larynx and I want you to just yell it, not sing it. I just want you to go skydiving.
Skydiving.
Good. But I want you to not think of singing it. I want you to think of
I,
yelling it.
I did.
Skydiving.
I was yelling it, and it just went all wet. Like that wasn't intentional at all. I don't have a vibrato.
It was sounding like a vibrato.
That was purely unintentional.
Okay, let's do it one more time and see what comes out.
So, sorry, what was the note
So
again?
again, like yelling it, and it just be rough with the note. You don't have to be skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah, it's a little bit too dopey. I think that's what's leading to the vibrato kicking in. I want you to try instead of skydiving, I want you to go skydiving, like kind of like you're yelling it.
Skydiving.
Good. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now it's falling though on your throat, so I want to try to get that to happen more at the belly. So putting a hand on your belly button. I want you to. You know what? Actually, I think your larynx is low enough. You don't need to have the second hand on your throat. And I want you to just think of calling it out, like you're yelling at somebody who's skydiving. You're just like skydiving. You just want to yell at them, right?
Yeah.
Skydiving. You just want to like yell it out.
Yeah. Skydiving.
Good. Even more from the belly. So I want you to breathe in so that the belly expands. And then I want all the press to come from here. Skydiving!
Skydiving.
Good, that's better. Don't jerk forward though, because I don't want your neck to get too involved. So try to think of actually the opposite. So the more we could kind of think of back with the neck, but press from the abs, the better off we're going to be because we're going to project that sound outward. One more time. Skydiving!
Skydiving.
Good. Now let's go a little higher. Skydiving!
Sky.
Don't get in your head.
No, nothing. Just
Just push it from your abs. Ska!
Sky.
Yeah,
Sky.
try to think
Nope.
even dopier on that. Ska!
Sky.
Good. Now, ska!
Sky.
Okay, I was wanting to totally clamp down. Okay, so there's two things kind of going on there. One is that sounds like I don't know how far have you been number one like pushing your voice far? Like have you been like working it out pretty hard when you're practicing?
No,
No, okay.
very soft.
Yeah,
Very
everything's really soft. How long are you practicing a day?
20 minutes.
Okay. And also, yeah, like Mohammed's saying, have you been yelling at anybody?
No.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Because it's sounding like there is a little bit of some form of swelling or something going on the cord. So what I would recommend in addition to the practice that you're doing is getting a steamer. I don't know if I've already recommended that to you in the past, have I?
No.
Okay, so grab a steamer. They could be had on Amazon for like $50. My recommendation is like the Mabis one. I don't know if it's available in your area, but I'll show you the how it's spelt. And if you do that once a day for about 15 minutes, it
Mhm.
should clear up whatever sort of. Sorry, I'm looking for the chat window. Here it is. And it's called Mavis. So then it will be, yeah, it should take care of any sort of swelling that's going on there. And then the rest of it, I think we've got to couple, because like the quiet sounds are going to help, but in the absence of actual application at full volume to songs, you're going to be left with an imbalance. So I want you to also be working like this sort of level of volume, but don't push
Mhm.
much past the D sharp to E4 sort of range. But just like calling out. So like skydiving, skydiving. Just like kind of in that range. Because if you try like where I brought you up to like the F sharp is where it started to get a little bit more difficult for you, and it started to overly squeeze at the throat. So try to work that with the abdominals. Really heavy focus on the abs working, so we're getting good breath in. I'm gonna show you from the side. Breath in, skydiving, skydiving. It's all coming from here. I'm not putting it on my throat, and that's what helps to keep the throat open so that the sound can come out easily.
Alrighty.
And also, have we ever like Mohammed's mentioning it, so I might as well ask acid reflux. Has that ever been an issue for you?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
One thing I would just like try out, see what happens with your higher range. I would do like there's a medication that's like a very low intensity medication, but it is helpful, like it works. It's called Gaviscon. Um, and if you just get that, try it. It's an over the counter thing. And try that for 3 days. And during the 3 days, every day, try to go to that like the E to F range, and see if anything clears up. And if you notice that things start to improve, then acid reflux might be something to look into.
Okay.
Awesome. And the way that you take the Gaviscon is just right before bed. I take 2 tablets. I mean, when I do take it, I kind of take it as spot treatment for when like my acid reflux is acting up. But yeah, just like 2 tablets before you go to bed, sleep
Mm.
through the night, and then just go about your regular singing practice the way you would, just inputting this louder sort of sound and see how it goes.
I mean, my whole life is I have chest voice and I have a falsetto and a extremely defined break between the two. They've never ever connected. Um, and so I would say like the light higher tone or higher note exercises I've been doing are basically starting in a falsetto and trying to make that eh,
Squeeze
connect.
happen.
Yeah, so
Don't throw it away. It's definitely an important component, but we have to
yeah.
also we want to work on the vocal cords getting that kind of light edge where just the inner part of the vocal cords touch. But then we also got to work the muscle of the vocal
Mm,
cord. So like the TA muscle as well as the muscles at the back. I'm blanking on them, but in the back that squeeze the vocal cords together. Because when I'm going really quietly, there's just like a slight movement of those muscles. But when I have to go there's much more of a squeeze there, and so
mm,
we want to work them in both ways so that nothing
yeah,
atrophies, so that we work the entire instrument fully.
mm. Fair enough.
Awesome. Next up, we've got David working on compression and the pitch tuner. Awesome. How's the compression work going? How are you finding it?
I don't know yet. So like, yeah, I play with it. Like I can kind of remember some of our lesson about being airy, not enough compression, and yeah. So I've been playing while you've been helping Scott and Tim. So
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean everybody's dealing with the same issue. So when everybody's got the same problem, then you hear it in his voice, in his voice, in his voice, and then you can kind of piece it together more or less. Um, so why don't you kind of give me just like a quick snapshot? I know you did post here. Oh, you posted the pitch training tool. That's really cool that you found that.
yeah,
Glad that's helpful.
I first few days I tried to hit that chromatic with a needle, and I couldn't get there. I gave up, and then I saw the little feature on my app, and that saved me. So the last couple days I've been able to hit some notes. So
Awesome. That's really good. So I'm glad that's working, and I think that's something that I can try to incorporate. Like it's helpful to kind of see where the problem was and then what the fix was. Because more or less, what the fix is that you needed a note just to continuously
yeah,
be playing, which really all you need is a piano, right? Because if you just were hitting that note over and over and over again on your piano, then you wouldn't need the app to be doing that. But the fact that like you don't have the keyboard there or the piano there, the app kind of replaces that. So yeah, so like having some sort of like pitch generator that like steadily holds a pitch, kind of like a sine wave, might be more helpful. So maybe yeah, it just gives me some good ideas on how to improve what's already there. But good. As far as the compression work, we were working in the context of a song, correct?
but yeah, we had just done shallow, and we were trying it. So yeah,
Can you show me kind of what that's sounding like, what shallow sounding like?
yeah, I didn't practice a lot, Adam. It'd be the same because I couldn't feel it again.
Okay. If you feel comfortable, would love to hear kind of just where it's at right now, and then I'll give you some guidance on what to do next. If not, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Can I? Can you play it for me?
Yeah, let me just pull it up real quick.
Tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Nice. Do you remember the other lyrics? Because that was nice compression right there. If you don't do the hut at the beginning, how does it work? Let's see if you just go
That's
straight
what
for it.
That's why I kind of stopped because I was getting myself in a habit where I didn't know if I could feel it without ha. And it's gonna be
So let's try without it. If we just go, tell me something, girl.
tell me something, girl.
Nice. You've got good compression without it. It has set you up. Let's try the next phrase. Are you happy in this modern world?
Are you happy in this modern world?
Nice. Did you add a little? I think you might have had a slight inaudible at the beginning, or am I wrong?
I did at the end too.
It really is becoming a habit. This
Took
is
my next class. I had to watch out.
Look, this is what happens when you really, really put it into play. It's like it starts to become second nature. Um, okay, cool. So I think what you've got to do is backtrack on that sound to get you set up because you've got the right setup. Like everything's working well there, as far as the compression goes, even without it. Um, and I'm just curious if we were to pitch this up just one step. Could we try this? Tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Good. Okay. And out of curiosity here, tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Okay, so what's happening on the original key, you've got it good. Your vowels are great. And the compression is there all the way through, which is a really good sign. So even when we go up, your vocal cords are not pulling apart. But what's happening is similar to what Scott was referencing, is the larynx rising, so the Adam's apple kind of jumping up. I want you to feel this for yourself, just so that you know what I'm saying. I want you to try that phrase again. Tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Do you feel the larynx jump up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now if we go back to the original key, tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Do you feel how that's more neutral?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a concept in singing called vowel modification. It's somewhat of an advanced thing, but it's the problem that you're encountering. So I want you to understand it. As we go up in range, naturally the vowels want to splat, is what it's called. Like they want to go wider. So like a something becomes a something, right? So you see how the vowel something, it goes wider. So it goes from tell me something, girl, to like tell me something, girl, to a little bit more of a wide sort of splat vowel. And
Right.
the problem with that is that raises the larynx, like you just experienced. So what we got to do is actually change the vowels in order to keep them more the same, if that makes sense. So instead of thinking, tell me something, girl, we think, tell me something, girl, because naturally it wants to go more wide. So if I go back to that +2, and I think that I'll do the two different sounds and what we need to modify. And we'll actually do it a little slower just so that it's easier to pick up on the vowels, because if it's not slow, then it's harder to hear the vowel changes. So naturally, one would want to go, tell me something, girl. It would all want to go splat. Tell me something. All like that. We want to think, tell me something, girl. Tell me something, girl. And then that way we're able to keep the larynx in more of a neutral position and the vowels end up sounding more natural. Can you try that if you slow it down in your mind like that? Tell me something, girl.
Like saying it like you or singing?
Singing it, but thinking. I mean, actually, you know what? Get
Something, girl.
speak it out first, actually, just to get comfortable.
Tell
So,
me.
sorry again.
Tell. You say it again.
Tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Good. The very first thing that needs to happen is we got to stop smiling, because the moment we smile, everything's gonna splat. So we got to relax the corners of the mouth. Tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Good. Now if we go, tell me something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
Good. You see how you kind of have to work to try to change the vowels from where they want to go? So you got to almost add this sort of like, sort of tonality on. Tell me something, Tell me something, girl. Tell me something, girl. Wherever we are in our range, we got to actually like add more of that sort of kind of darker tonality to it. So like that's it's a picture of what the next steps will be. But very first, like for you, the next step is get rid of the huh and still be able to hold on to the compression like you do have, because you have good healthy compression without like there's no excess compression and it's not too little compression. You've got a really good balance. We just want to be able to hold on to that without that huh sound.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep practicing about the huh.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. So next up, did we have somebody else? Mohammed. So you're working on the ah slides and working on compression, turning it on and off as you go throughout the day. Working on it through songs, different phrases of songs throughout the day. Nice. Working on the vocal flips, working on runs, and we've got a recording here. Do you mind if I play it?
That's actually not my run. It's a run that I would like to imitate, but it's very nice. You can play it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure.
It doesn't have any.
Wow.
Yeah, that's on
Yeah,
the
so
disc.
just nail it. All right. So you just sing it. That's it.
I got it from like different Discord. If you're familiar with who Sri Ramesh is, it's on her Discord. It's like this guy's 15 years old. Um, and that's him doing the run. And he said he got it from a YouTube video, and he didn't reply on which YouTube video he got it from. So I'm like, all right, screw it, just do it on this one.
Just
Um,
borrow his recording. So the very first thing I would do is download this recording and then play it slower.
okay.
Once we've got
Very,
that, pardon?
it's a very difficult run, or it's a riff, really. I think.
So you
One of the
gotta you
runs.
gotta break it down. There's no way like to, unless you're extremely talented with riffs. Then like I just quickly download it.
I think I can get somewhat through the beginning, but then like after that, it's just and my
A
runs are
mess.
nowhere near as fast as his.
And is this like the beginning of a song or like what's
I have
the
no clue. I think he was just practicing his riffs and runs.
just runs? Okay, cool. It's not liking that. Okay, don't even need to share my screen. Speed. Oh, it's no 0.75, only 0.5. All right.
It sounds Middle Eastern, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely not a chromatic run.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's intentionally Middle Eastern. I think he's just not hitting the pitch right, and as you slow it down, it becomes more obvious that he's
Yeah.
kind of going in between notes instead of because it's meant to be an A major, A minor scale that they're singing in, but it's just not quite. He's going too fast. Is the answer?
Ah, he's missing notes here.
Yeah.
Um,
He's insanely fast with his runs. I don't know how he does that. I try to do it and it just splats.
Let me just hear it one more time. Let's see. The good news is a lot of them is just like repeated note
Yeah.
bends. So it's like it's very difficult for the ear to comprehend what's going on at first, but after breaking it down, it actually will be simpler, I think, than it then first meets the ear, let's say. So that's what I would do is like I wouldn't go that slow. Unfortunately, Windows Media Player only goes to like 0.5. I would put it at 0.75 and then just break it down into either like 3 note bits or into like the pieces of like where you're going like where he's kind of like bouncing between like two of the same notes like that you can kind of gather together as one single portion to practice, and then you practice them separately, and then you put it all together into one picture. That would be the way I would do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it sounds very Indianish too. Like it's like Middle Eastern Indianish. It just sounds really cool, nice to the ear.
Yeah, I think at the end he gets cleaner with his pitch, but the beginning is like you could hear he's going a little bit flat on some of the notes that should be a little bit higher on. Um, but yeah, how are overly overall? How's the compression coming? The slides, vocal flips. I heard the vocal flips. They're sounding great.
The folk vocal flips are coming together now. Love, alone. So alone. It's a little hard to do it in the context of a song, just because the bottom portion, I guess, or like the bottom note has to be very thick and heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say? And
Where
it's also
where does it fall out in Rewrite the Stars?
it's not in Rewrite the Stars. It's actually in Versace on the Floor, where he I don't think it is actually. It might have. I think it is, but I think it's the little no no.
Oh, okay.
And then on Versace on the Floor, the bottom like note isn't as like heavy, but he's still able to flip somehow. And I'm like, okay, I can't do that. Um,
Where is that in Versace on the Floor?
when he goes alone. And then compression in general is like just turning it on and off throughout the day. Was it on, off, on, off?
Nice. That's good. That's really good. Um, Let me hear Alone. Where is Alone? Oh, here. We're dancing all alone. Alone, alone. Yeah, it's not. It isn't super high. But he's bringing his falsetto down quite low. Mm. So I would just lean in heavier on the very first note. Alone. So that it and I think that's what he does as well.
Alone, alone. Shit.
But that's the idea. It's just not quite hitting the top pitch.
Alone,
Yeah, that was it.
alone. Yeah, it's not as thick. The pop itself is not as like pronounced as his is.
It'll come with time.
Alone,
One more time. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
alone, alone.
Also, you're not going as breathy as he is on the top. Alone.
Alone, alone.
There, you see how that becomes more crisp because you've got a stronger, thicker, more compressed sound at the bottom, and then airier, breathier. So you got to really create that contrast. The more contrast there is, the more direct and clear the flip will be.
Alone. It's not flipping now. I'm gonna have to work on that. It's just because usually the notes that I go for are a lot like more thicker at the bottom, but like the bottom note itself is a little higher in Versace floor, I'd say. And I'm
Right.
not really into that.
And like it Rewrite the Stars, that part you were talking about, and then we'll have to call it. But
Alone. in general, compression is like I've that um it doesn't take as much effort to be compressed nowadays. So
Nice. That's
how
really
it's
good.
supposed to go. Like I don't have to squeeze the life out of my abs to actually have a more compressed sound.
Yes, that's how it should be. I mean, you should still feel like you're using your abdominals and like your
Sure.
abdominals are engaging quite strongly, but as you become more efficient at creating the connection between your cords and your abs, so that you get the abs to work, press, and then the vocal cords to squeeze, and so then you get that kind of compression without having to squeeze the heck out of your throat and the heck out of your abdominals. So
But
yeah,
what
it's
does an
definitely
over compressed sound look like?
over compressed sound is this.
Oh, so it's like this,
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
That's an
Yeah.
over compressed sound. Any sort of sound that starts to either become distorted or become breathy. Like some people try to do compression and they do this sort of sound, and it's like it's compressed air coming out, not like sound, not vibration. Um, so we don't want that because that will hurt the throat. Um, and just quickly, I wanna hear you do this one in the here. You try that part.
Uh, uh, might be off pitch, but
I want to make that even clearer. Like the airflow on the falsetto, because your compression now is working really well. It's the airflow on the falsetto that needs cleaning up. So you wanna like lean into that falsetto sort of sound more.
no, 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 it's not flipping. No, no.
Try to open up the mouth a little bit more, because if the jaw's too tight, the air won't be able to come out properly. No.
No, no.
The second one was better than the first one. So yeah, I would play with that one. It's interesting how on Versace on the floor you felt like you were having more difficulty there, but that was cleaner. It was a cleaner flip than this one. So definitely keep working at this and focus more now on the falsetto than on the compressed sound, because the compressed
So
sound is.
funny. A super breathy approach, and now it's like, ah, shit, gotta go back.
But that's what it is. It's a constant teeter totter. That's why, like, when I was first learning, I was always after the one thing that would, like, when I first learned compression, I'm like, this is the answer. It's fixing everything. Like, let me compress the hell out of my voice and it'll be the answer to everything. And then I was just like, I was working my voice to the point where I was working way too hard. I remember with the song take me to church, I'll worship like a dog in the shrine of your lives. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knives off of me. I would just like kill my throat. It's just like, chill out, bro. Doesn't need to be like take me to church, I'll worship like a dog in the shrine of your lives. You don't need to squeeze the hell out of your throat to make that work. So that was a huge learning curve for me to let go
Another
of that.
question I had: how much tension am I supposed to feel in my throat, if at all?
It when you strike the perfect balance, it should almost feel like falsetto, but like in the throat, it should feel like falsetto-ish, but it comes out compressed.
Okay, I mean, it's not like a super tight like pull or anything like that. It's just I can tell that my neck is getting just a little bit, involved, but it's not like a bad involvement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a really difficult balance to strike. It'll feel when you first start to get it right in that range, it'll feel like you're almost like, I don't know if this will make any sense to anybody, but when I first got it, it felt like I was pushing down in my stomach region, like all the way down to my pelvic floor, in order to like get the sound to come out freely. So I would get this like squeeze in order to like open up the throat. So when I got like a ah, ah, my throat felt like ah, ah. Like there's not much sensationally in the throat happening different between those two. It's more of like the amount of just pure vibration and sensation happening up in my head. So so but it does. I feel a lot more here. I feel a lot
Yeah, for
more
sure.
down into my butt, as gross as that is. But
What is the pelvic floor exactly?
the pelvic floor is a sheet of muscle that sits like right in your pelvis, runs from like the front of the groin area all the way down to like the back of the butt, and it works in tandem. So the diaphragm is here, and then the pelvic floor is here, and so they actually work in tandem with each other. So when you get a good belly breath, you're opening up the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is also expanding as well as the diaphragm. The diaphragm's dropping. And then when we engage properly the whole system, we get the pelvic floor tightening and the diaphragm tightening to squeeze the air back out. So it's kind of like they're two parachutes that work in tandem together.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know about that.
It's more of a sensation thing. Like I tend to focus more on the belly, because when you get the belly right, the pelvic floor will follow. But in some instances, when people use a little bit too much rectus abdominis, a little bit too much of the six pack, that's when we have to release that in order for the pelvic floor to activate a little bit more.
Okay, that makes sense. That's no wonder why I feel it on my backside when I sing. Like super
Because
compressed.
just to drive this point home,
And I'm assuming that also has to do with the back being inflated as well, right? Like slightly.
with the back, yes, because look at the transverse abdominis. So it's running like this is the front of the. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it.
This is the front of the stomach, and then this is the back, right? So it runs all the way around the midsection. It's like a corset that runs around our midsection and ties into the spinal cord in the back. But it's also very much interconnected with the pelvic floor, if we can get a picture of that. Hold on. Oh, here. So that's the pelvic floor. And you can see it's like really just one bone, the pelvis, in between the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor. So they really do work in tandem. And you can see here how the diaphragm also is there. So the diaphragm drops, the pelvic floor drops, and then when we breathe out, the pelvic floor rises, the diaphragm rises, and the transverse abdominis moves in.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more detail on this Jovica in terms of the anatomy, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on as a kind of a big picture view. Oh, Jovica's got it. Nice. All right, I'm gonna have to end it here because